I'm taking Bucks, although I think Saints will take it.
I'm leaning Saints. I think the Saints offense is
Wait,
too good.
what did you just say?
I'm taking the Bucks. I want the Bucks to win. I think the Saints will take it though.
So you're taking the Saints.
No, I put my pick in for the Bucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the newly renamed BOTA-Cast. Guys, we're actually going to be calling this Garbage Time with Bota. What's happening?
Garbage.
All right.
Wait, was that directed at us or was that directed at fans?
No, I mean, I
thought it was garbage.
No, was that directed to? No.
Welcome to Garbage Time with Bota, guys. I have usual suspects with me. I have Mr. Drew Daniels, hello, and Cassidy. Hello, boys. How are you doing?
Hello.
Oh,
Oui.
I got a D- minus in Spanish.
what? That was not even close.
What?
You heard me. I gotta say, I enjoy the new name. I think the rebrand.
Is that what you're fucking starting off with? You know, pause. You know, I really enjoy the new name.
like, I mean, obviously we renamed the show because we're having two shows now. We're doing the Bota show, so we renamed the BOTA-Cast because.
Tell me your thoughts on the name.
On the name itself?
No, you said never mind.
Drew, what were we gonna name it? What was the name of the show before it was Garbage Time?
You're fucking dicks.
Oh, yeah.
Frumpy Lumps with Bota, so.
No, we were going to call the Bota show Frumpy Lumps.
Oh, right, yes. Okay, all right. Well, anyways, you guys know why you're here. We got some wild card review.
That's why you're here?
Yeah, I thought it was to make your ears bleed.
Well, also, I mean, that's a secondary effect.
Talk about how great the name of the show is.
With 3-second intervals in between, though.
Yeah, no kidding. Again, you guys know why you're here. You got wildcard review. We got the round preview. Chris, why don't you start with the NFC this week and take it away?
Do you get to do the introduction? I just start with the NFC. Kind of rude.
Go ahead, Chris. Do the introduction.
You can only go up from here, Chris.
Not really.
All right, NFC. Let's dive in. All right. I wouldn't call it crazy wild card week, but definitely a lot of hype going into it.
I don't know those slime units, man. That was pretty crazy.
Hey, is this your turn to talk?
Don't matter.
Shut the fuck up. All right, we're going to start with the Los Angeles Rams versus Seattle Seahawks. I have in my notes, my fancy notes, Rams rattle Seahawks 30-20.
What exactly does that mean, Chris?
The definition of rattle. Let me get that up.
Like as to snake?
Like just shake a little bit.
Yeah, just
rattle definition.
Vibrate.
Make or cause to make a rapid succession of short, sharp knocking sounds, typically as a result of shaking and striking repeatedly against a hard surface or object.
Yeah.
So I would say the Rams had the Seahawks make rapid succession of short, sharp knocking sounds to the hard surface. The point being, Rams won 30-20. It was more of a defensive game in the beginning, and then the Seahawks, I think, were just bleh. But Cam Akers had a day, 131 yards for 1 touchdown. Goff and his receivers, very quiet. Goff only went for 9 for 19 with 1 touchdown. And Cooper Kupp, 9 targets, 4 receptions, 78 yards, 0 touchdowns. Russell Wilson on the other side of the ball, 11 completions, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns, both of them to DK Metcalf, who went 11 receptions. Wait, what? 11 targets. I'm sorry. I was like, did DK get every single reception from Wilson? 11 targets, 5 receptions, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. So the Seahawks clearly, other than DK, no one was even, presentable really. So safe to say, Seahawks got their ass beat. Rams move on. Any thoughts?
So, yeah, off of that, what the fuck was Russell Wilson doing that entire game?
Dude, it has been a steady progression from starting the season about as well and as hot as a quarterback can to slowly declining over the course of said season. And
that's what kills me, though.
And it's what we've been talking about the whole time is as Russ was declining and the offense was becoming more and more stale and stagnant, the defense was coming up at the same time and being able to actually keep him in games. And the defense through the end of the year pretty much got him into the playoffs. So
definitely dragged him there for the most part.
And they just couldn't keep up with the Rams at this point, even no matter who was a quarterback, be it a broken Jared
I'm
Goff,
the only person that picked
I
the
see
Seahawks
James's
to win,
name.
too, out of us four. Because I thought Wilson would be back in that beginning of the season look. And look at him. The Seahawks had nothing going, I don't think, at any point in that game.
That trend for me was what did it. Just the fact that offense just kept getting worse throughout the season.
Which is shocking because playoff Russ is actually pretty decent. And I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him this year.
He spent all of his luck on a few games, man. There's no
Apparently.
more.
Russ, you want to talk about luck? He had 14 touchdowns by week 3. And then he went 3 games without a single touchdown. It's just a whole disaster. So Rams held it pretty straight. I thought it was definitely a defensive game. It was like slow points adding up, but then the Rams kind of just took off and took over. And clearly this is cracking James and Zach up. So
nothing. We're good.
I'm sorry, not Zach. I have no idea what I'm saying. Thank you. Drew is very high. Zach's just here so he doesn't get fined. And James is jacking Goff.
I did not change my own name. And I saw James's name as I was talking about Jared Goff, so that really tripped me up.
Dude, awful what happened to Wolford. We're going to stay on this game a little bit longer and just to diverge from whatever just happened. He's apparently somewhat all right. He's potentially able to play this week. But shout out Jared Goff for going out there with a busted-ass thumb.
Yeah.
And, bawling.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Outplaying Russell Wilson.
That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, I think the star of the game, clearly, while we're still on this game, was Akers. 131 yards and a touchdown. It was tough to stop him. So he's kind of making himself known as a top RB.
He's the man, and that's why he's our running back.
Yeah.
We're giving him up.
It didn't work out until about week 15, but fuck the hell with
a while, but
it's gonna pay off next year, damn it. It's a dynasty.
So I think
long-term investments.
Well, the game plan for the Rams for the rest of the playoffs is if they can get separation for Akers, they should be all right. Give him the ball, see what he can do.
So yeah, Drew, are you worried about that, knowing the Packers' run defense has been sus?
I am less worried about it than I would have been in the middle of the season.
Okay.
The run defense has definitely stepped up a little bit more, like I've talked about the past couple weeks, and the guys that we're expecting to make plays are starting to make those plays on the line. Rashawn Gary and the big one, Preston Smith, has been stepping up a little bit more the last couple weeks as well. So we get kind of that little bit of dynamic duo action back with him and Za'Darius. So it's good to see that they're trending in the right direction. Again, to talk about those trends, but I'm concerned. Not freaking out, but I'm concerned.
Right. I think that's a fair level to be. you can look at any of these teams and really pinpoint their one weakness in them, but I don't know. I'm trying to just recover from what's going on here.
He's the only one that has access to do this. Prick. All right. Anyways, because
I don't know where else I was going with that. Just
lost in his thoughts. Rams move on. They play the Packers next week. Packers had the bye because they're first seed. Do we want to go through the rest of the wild card and get some more info, or should I dive right into that game? What are you guys thinking?
I mean, let's just run with it since we're already talking about the Rams, right?
Yeah, might as well.
Do it.
And for the other two, we should talk about the preview for both of them, and then the review, or other way around. Yeah.
You just okay.
Yeah.
Stop with the drywall, please.
Yeah.
All right. Saturday, 4:35 Eastern Standard Time. We got the Rams at the Packers. I'm siding with the Packers here. I think it should be a decently easy game for the Packers. I don't think the Rams are. I think they looked good last week. I don't think they're playoff material other than Akers. So I think Packers should take this no problem. Over under is 45.5 points. I very much see that hitting unless the Rams defense plays absolutely stellar, but I don't see that happening. What else? We got the spread right now is 6.5 favored to the Packers. Again, I don't know how I feel about that. You guys have thoughts on that?
I think it depends on which Rams team shows up, which is really how it's been the last 2 years for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
They have the potential to show up and be a legit contender and give the Packers a run for their money. I don't think that really whatever they bring out is going to be enough. I think that Packers offense is too high powered.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do show up, I see it being a 3-point game. But if we get some of these Rams teams that show up and don't really know how to play football, the Packers could very well win by double digits.
I think it's focusing on their key points too. So obviously for the Packers, they need to keep Akers under wraps for their defense.
Yep.
And vice versa for the Rams defense, they need to keep that whole Packers offense under control. And it's not just Aaron Jones or, they got to keep Devontae Adams. They got to keep, especially Aaron Rodgers. They really got to come out as a strong defense if they're going to have any chance against the Packers.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is going to fall on the Rams offense, essentially playing defense and keeping Aaron Rodgers off the field, as so many teams
I think
really
if the
try to
Packers
do.
can hold Akers, though, they have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other aspect that comes down to for the Packers is finishing the game, because they've proven they can come out and absolutely thump teams into a hole, but when it comes down to it, they have trouble finishing them off. They let teams sneak back in, and the Rams, with Akers leading the offense, could get tiring over the course of the game and could end up coming back into the game if they get down early. So don't count them out if it looks like it's going to be a blowout.
Agreed. All right. James, Zach, who are you taking? I know Drew's taking the Packers. I'm taking the Packers.
You guys have sports opinions, or are you just going to play with the nickname?
Yes. Look on the actual YouTube video for what we're fucking around and doing on the left side of the screen.
I just have to say, there was like a competition inside of that entire conversation where James and I were just making each other's names and trying not to laugh, and I broke it. But no, I agree with Chris. I think that if the Rams want to have a chance, they're going to need to come out as a strong defensive unit. Jalen Ramsey has to make Devontae Adams an offense. That's it, plain and simple. If it doesn't happen, Packers win. I have the Packers winning this game. I wouldn't say it's an easy game, but I like their chances against the Rams rather than if they had to play the Bucs, Drew. So,
I 100% agree. I am very, very thankful that the Rams were able to go into Seattle and take that dub. And just to touch back on what you said about Jalen Ramsey locking down Devontae Adams, that is probably the key factor. And then the next step down from that is are the Packers' secondary receivers going to be able to show up if Devontae Adams becomes a non-factor?
Correct. Right.
I also
Are
don't
they
think
going to be?
Ramsey has it in him to lock him down anymore either.
I don't necessarily think he does either. Devontae Adams, man, that's a tough assignment if you're on him all game long. You're going to get beat a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell you how much more it hurts when Marquez Valdez-Scantling drops a ball, 45 yards downfield wide open past the defense than it does when you drop a, slant on first down or something. And those are the big plays that he's proven that he cannot make consistently. And that's killed the momentum so many times for the Packers. You watch the games that they're winning, and then all of a sudden they're about to make another big play on offense, and no, they drop it, and all of a sudden the other team's right back in it. So they need to be able to be consistent on supporting Devontae Adams.
Agreed.
My turn. I think the Rams are going to win.
James.
I think they have the consistency on offense to outpace the Packers defense as good as they have been. I saw something in Jared Goff that I didn't think still existed after the beginning of the season. And I have a lot of faith in that secondary and defense, which is weird to say, but I think the combination of Aaron Donald off the edge, combining with not having your first look open, might favor or should favor the Rams instead. But that's just my opinion.
Fuck your opinion.
All right, moving on. Actually, did we get Zach's pick?
Yeah, he's picking the Packers. Like
Okay.
a fucking
I think
smart
that was
human being.
after we all sided with the Browns for you, and then take the Rams. So, oof, bad luck over here. But moving on, back to Wild Card Week. We have Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Washington Football Team, and obviously, as we know, the Bucs took that game. But that was a good game. I think that was still not as good as I thought it could be, but it was a fun game to watch. Bucs win 31-23. Now, the big talking point is Washington's backup quarterback, Heineke. What a fucking stud. 26 completions, 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Also separated his shoulder and still continued to play. That was all in the air. Also had 6 runs, 46 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground. Holy fuck. That was
insane,
impressive.
right? For an XFL guy, he's really showing up.
That was, I mean, he came in and blew everyone out the water. I'm still wondering how. Well, one, he has a starting job somewhere, no matter what the fuck happens.
I don't know about that. I think
How
one
do you
good
not?
game doesn't.
I think he has a backup job.
Yeah, I'd say a 2 spot. You tell me right now that you're a GM of a team and you look at Taylor Heineke over every other prospect that's out there and go, yeah, I want that guy.
I would say there would be one team. There would be one team that would do that, but their GM recently resigned. John, I can feel John Elway in his office right now going, I need it. I need it. I need it.
Give me Heineke.
We can't talk about the Broncos because you get apparently it's racist. That fight you guys had on Instagram last week.
Oh,
About the 6'5" white guys. No.
Oh, whatever. Sorry, John Elway likes to fucking draft the same prototype quarterback every year.
I know, and they never pan out. Wow.
Point being, Heineke was and is a stud. I think he looked awesome. I think he really brought Washington together. I wish I could have seen Alex Smith play that game.
I could have seen Alex Smith play that game.
Yeah, we'll see Alex Smith next season, I think. Anyways, for Washington, Cam Sims, best receiver on the field for Washington. 7 completions, 104 yards, no touchdowns. And on the other side of the ball, we got Brady, 22 completions, 381 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, 10 completions, 10 targets, 6 completions, 119 yards. And what do you guys think about Fournette instead of RJ2?
3? No, 2. You're right. I was thinking RG3. Man, yeah, no, that was embarrassing. Somebody say something for fuck's sake.
Nope, we're gonna let that one marinate.
Yeah, just let that one sit in there for a bit. I don't know, dude. Okay, thanks. Thanks, pop-ups. I don't know if I'm really ever sold on Leonard Fournette. I think I still have a bad taste in my mouth about the whole thing, but we'll see if we can keep up enough of a pace to keep them through. I mean, 93 yards on 19-1, sure. It's good. It's great. It's what you want out of him, but can you keep that up against whoever they got next week, actually? A much better
Saints defense.
Jones is going to be back next week, no doubt.
So, yeah, they'll have a different mix of players coming out of the backfield next week for sure.
Yeah.
They're not unbeatable. That's for damn sure. They've got their weaknesses on both sides of the ball. And
more than I'd like to admit. That's hard to. I mean, they have the weapons. I just think. Let's talk about their defense too. Their defense almost gave up the game multiple times. Their defense was strong, and then it was flat, and then it was strong for 2 plays, and then it was flat.
And if the Washington's receivers could have helped Heineke out a little bit more, they kind of suffered from that same thing I was talking about with the Packers, and dropping the plays that are huge. Cam Sims on that deep ball down the middle of the field changes the complexion of the game early on. Mm-hmm. So if they're able to make some of those plays and extend those drives and bring the momentum back to their side, then you're talking about a different game. So the Bucs defense definitely lucked out with some key drops there. So not only were they exposed at some points, but they also were bailed out. So if they have a Saints team that's probably not going to make those mistakes, they're going to have a real tough time stopping them, especially with Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield.
Well, yeah, that's what we're getting into next, and just how much the Bucs defense needs to step it the fuck up next week, because obviously the Bucs are moving on, and they're going to play the Saints. So we'll send over there, and then we can talk about what teams need to fix. So Saints played the Chicago Bears, and I think
on Nickelodeon.
I mean, if you just look at that game, and there's no way that you don't see the Saints winning. So obviously, the Bears didn't even stand a single fucking chance. Saints win 21-9, but surprisingly, it was actually only a 7-point game until the third quarter, which was a little shocking.
The Bears defense played up to their potential for a good portion of that game. For the
first half, at least, and then maybe a little bit in the third quarter, and then the Saints just said, "Nah, we're not fucking around anymore. We're just going to spread this field open."
And like I said, the Bears had chances. I mean, wide receivers were dropping like wide open throws.
My God,
and Mitchell Trubisky was missing some wide open throws.
It was both sides of that coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one throw Mitch Trubisky's thrown that could be certified as a dime in probably the past 3 years, and it's dropped.
Anthony Miller drops it.
No, it wasn't Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller might have been out at that point.
Oh, okay.
But that's been a common occurrence with the Bears all season, though. I mean, that one's tough. The Bears, truthfully, did not stand it. How they even made the playoffs, I'm kind of shocked, but they didn't stand a chance against the Saints.
Yeah, their offense really is just a disorganized mess, and
that's exactly it. They have some great defensive pieces, and they can put their defense together, but it's also inconsistent. The Bears,
and it's not like they don't have pieces on offense. They got some serious talent on offense. Yeah. David Montgomery, Allen Robinson on the outside, Mooney coming into his own a little bit. I mean, Anthony Miller's also there. And the offensive line could be better, don't get me wrong, but it's not the worst in the league.
No, not by a long shot.
It's just they don't have a confident signal caller. They really don't. They don't have someone that can orchestrate that offense, and I don't know who is the offensive coordinator, but they should probably look into getting a new one.
Yeah.
I don't know how Nagy still has a job.
Unbelievable, because he made the playoffs.
I guess, yeah, sure. But like, what else other than that been redeeming?
Trubisky only goes 19 completions, 199 yards, 1 touchdown. Montgomery and the receivers, as Drew just said, weren't even a factor in the game. They really put up no numbers at all. It was just tough for the Bears. But on the other side of the ball, Drew Brees, 28 completions, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Alvin Kamara, 23 attempts, 99 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground, and 2 completions, 17 yards in the air. So that shows it right there. I mean, Kamara and Brees is your answer right there. Zach has some weird filter on. But Brees and the Saints cruise on by Bears, and they take on the Bucs in New Orleans next week.
Yep.
So that game, Sunday, 6:40 p.m., that's my game of the week personally. And I think that's going to be an amazing, amazing battle. You got 2 Hall of Fame QBs. I don't know if Brees is the second oldest in the NFL right now.
Probably close.
Dumb check, I'll say
Definitely
yes.
close. I know Brady's the oldest, but that's going to be a good game. I can't wait to see that fucking game.
Also, fair note, this could be the last game we see Drew Brees in.
It could be the last game we see Brady in, for all we know, too.
Allegedly he's committed to 2021, but...
Point being, this is the last time these two will meet. I do not have flat, whatever the fuck that means. I am flat, I have flat, very flat.
No one's I have. Oh.
But point being, this is the last game that Brady and Brees will probably meet, especially in the playoffs. And this is, I really want to see Brees make the Super Bowl because he fucking deserves it. But I really want to see the Bucs go and Brady make it too. I think the Saints will take the game, but I'm hoping for the Bucs to win. Over-under is 52. I don't see that being a problem to hit. I think that will be an offensive battle unless the Saints defense can absolutely destroy the Bucs. Spread is 3 points favored to the Saints. And obviously, as we just talked about, die, Zach, die. How did you change all the...
Focus on the game.
I'm going to do this to you in 5 minutes, so get ready. Obviously, as Drew and me just talked about, the Bucs defense obviously needs to step up for this game big time. And Jones, too, should be back. I don't know. That should be good. So the Bucs at least have multiple running backs. The running back game is going to look different, but that is definitely going to be a game to watch. I'm taking Bucs, although I think Saints will take it.
I'm leaning Saints. I think the Saints offense is
Wait,
too good.
what did you just say?
I'm taking the Bucs. I want the Bucs to win. I think the Saints will take it, though.
So you're taking the Saints.
No, I put my pick in for the Bucs, but I think the Saints will take it. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
No!
Oh, it's confusing.
No.
Yes, but I'm confused
Are
by
you
the
taking
actions
them?
that you've taken.
Are you taking them
Reverse
against
psychology.
the
If I
spread?
say I think the Bucs will take it, the Saints will win. If I say I think
So
the
you're just
Saints will win,
covering
but I
both
pick
ends.
the Bucs are going to
That's
win.
not a new strategy. You just
That's my strategy. Shut the fuck up.
Cop out. Come on.
Yeah, if
just
I
had
had to
an
pick like
aneurysm.
8 teams that would win the Super Bowl, it would be the Rams, the Packers.
Yeah, no, here, I got my Super Bowl pick in. It's all 32 NFL teams. They're all going to win.
So I'm going to pick the Packers, but I think the Rams are going to win. Like, what the hell? Okay, anyways. I think that this is a game. This is round 3 of this matchup for
gonna murder
this
us.
season. This is the 3rd time that these two teams have met. The first 2 times, Michael Thomas was not there, and the Saints were still able to win comfortably. I don't see this as being a much of a game that the Bucs should win. The fact that they have Tom Brady gives them a chance to win and be competitive in this game, and the offense that they have, of course. But I just don't see them being able to pull this out. I think it's either going to be a narrow Saints win or a blowout for.
And to pull off of that note, Drew, I mean, Michael Thomas looked good again. Like, we know he had a couple games during the season.
He did. He
like whatever.
He looks ready to be back. Shutting him down that second time was a great idea. Get him ready for when it really matters for Drew Brees' last playoff ride. And he made all the difference in that Bears game. He just opens the field up in a whole different way for them. Javon, what's the receiver, the other receiver, New Orleans, number 10.
Daniel Sanders?
No, the other one.
On the Bucks?
No, on the Saints.
No, the Ravens, Chris.
I'm going to come over there and slap you.
He had like tons of receptions last week. I think his last name's Smith.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, Deontay Harris, yes. Yes, Deontay Harris.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm very confused. But they have such a high-powered offense, and Michael Thomas just adds an even higher dimension to it with Alvin Kamara. With it, there's no way. The Bucs are not going to win this week.
I thought Harris was a rook. I'm not going to lie to you. No, he's a 2-year. He's out of Assumption.
Oh, look at that. It's a Massachusetts.
Wow.
Hey. Worcester.
Is that it for the
school right next door.
All right. Anyways, it's the end of the NFC, so we're going to send it over to Zach for the AFC games. But go Bucs.
Zach, James, I'm curious to see who you think is going to win this game.
So this is tough. This is a tough matchup. I think.
Oh, now you want to get involved.
I wasn't asked.
You had plenty of opportunity.
Anyway, thanks, James. Thanks for the background noise. This is a really interesting matchup because obviously they already played each other twice. The Saints won the first matchup by a close margin, right? And then obviously the Bucs got blown out. I don't know. It's tough because I like Brady in revenge games, but this one's really tough because I don't know what Bucs team I'm gonna get. You know what I mean? So my gut is telling me that I feel a Brady comeback. I don't want to pick the Bucs, but I think I picked the Bucs.
Didn't you pick the Saints in our picks? What is wrong with all of you?
All right, so
I haven't even said my pick.
Here are my thoughts. I might have to. I'll tell them I'll have to change it.
A lot.
Here are my thoughts on this. So, I was thinking about this game a lot today because obviously I have the. No. There we go. I thought about
there you go.
The other three games. The other three games, obviously, I've already thought about, and I've kind of already made my picks on those. But this one was still up in the air for me because I don't know. There's just something about Brady in a playoff game against an opponent that he had a hard time against in the regular season, and in the past he's done very, very well against a second or third time opponent. I mean, obviously, this is a divisional opponent. And I couldn't tell you the last time that he played a divisional opponent in a playoff game. I think maybe it was the Jets.
It would have been the Jets for sure.
That's right, and they lost, but a different story. They were on the flip side of that. So I don't know. Brady struggled against the Saints this year. Are you
just going to keep flip-flopping for the next 10 hours?
No, I'm not going to. No. What I'm saying is he struggled against the Saints, but I think he does enough to win them this game. I think they make the NFC Championship. So yeah, I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to go with the Bucs.
Huh.
Yeah. Live pick change. But yeah, I thought about this a lot.
Oh.
I'm just nervous about the Saints because we've seen games where they've kind of just disappeared. I mean, it's the same with the Bucs, but I don't know. There's just something about Brady in the playoffs that makes me very hesitant to pick against him, especially against a divisional opponent that they've played twice this year and lost both times. So there's extra motivation for him.
I mean, I have nothing to say. I'm sticking with my pick on the Saints.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not trying to convince you.
Right off.
It's more or less myself, but oh look, it's me as a girl. Look at that.
You're a pretty girl.
Oh, I know. I'm waiting. Does anyone else have a pick? Everyone else already made their pick, right?
Yeah, we're literally waiting on you, Zach. Come on.
Oh, that's awkward.
We're waiting on Zach.
So sorry. Well, waiting on me. But anyways, I'm here. I'm here with the AFC. Let me just move off of the 5 girls, 1 black dude on the couch. Picture offline here. I still can't believe I found that online. That's amazing. All right, guys. AFC wildcard recap, and then we'll do our divisional preview intermittently between. Let's talk about that first game. First playoff game, first wildcard game. Pretty good game. We had Colts at Bills. Bills win that game 27-24. I mean, it's absolutely the Josh Allen show. 2 passing touchdowns, 1 on the ground. I mean, he was the Bills' leading rusher. That's going to be a very common theme throughout these next 3 games, I guess.
Especially sans Zach Moss.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, he got hurt, but Stephon Diggs had a huge day, so obviously, not having Zach Moss didn't hurt them in terms of losing the game. So Stephon Diggs had 6 receptions, 128 yards, and a TD. So, big day for him. That touchdown catch, that was an absolute fucking dime from Josh Allen. So, Colts defense was no joke. I mean, I was worried a little bit about this game for the Bills, but they put down 27 on a really good Colts defense. Josh Allen looked really good. He looked like a playoff quarterback. I mean, he didn't cave under the pressure, at least for this game. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on this game?
Ooh, you go ahead, Drew.
Also, underlying storyline, guys. Remember, this is the Colts that just were eliminated. Is this Phillip Rivers' last game?
I hope so. Fuck that guy.
I would imagine so.
I mean, you have to think it is, but then again, all these guys are playing well into their 40s. So
I'm gonna take the lead on this one, Drew. I'll kick it over to you.
All right, go ahead, man.
I think I said this a couple times to you guys after the game, but the best way to beat Phillip Rivers is to get him just like the right level of pissed off, where he's known for just making dumb mistakes, and that's how. Under pressure with that, he ends up throwing these dumb interceptions and making awful throws. Granted, you could have put some of that on the wide receivers. I know Pittman had a drop and I can't think of who fumbled. Almost was a fumble, was not ruled a fumble. But I got to say on the Buffalo side, they have someone I've talked about a lot with one of our friends, Showtime. Gabriel Davis is about to be a star next year. That kid works the sideline.
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
I mean, just another underrated pick, and he just came up, and him and Cole Beasley have been pairing perfectly with Stephon Diggs and John Brown's absence.
I know, really disappointed. I miss John Brown. Drew and I miss John Brown.
Brown. All right, Drew. Tell me what you think.
I was just going to say that it's kind of what you were talking about, but just getting the pressure on Phillip Rivers. He's never been the best quarterback under pressure. That's a pretty well-established fact. And the Bills' defense was able to show up and in those critical situations just get to him and force him to make those mistakes. And that complemented the offense enough to get by a good Colts team. And I think that has to be the formula moving forward is the defense has to complement what the offense is trying to do and get them the ball back.
I like the idea that Phillip Rivers is like Zoolander, where Zoolander couldn't turn left, right? And then when he did, left. No, anyway. When he did, finally, he like stopped not the nunchuck. What are those things? Shuriken?
The nunchuck, the throwing stars?
Throwing stars, yeah. He stopped the throwing star. I feel like when Phillip Rivers like finally just says like, fuck, you're just going to unleash this, like, dimensional, like, monster just, like, opens up and comes out of Phillip Rivers.
Ultra instinct Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. Gets another 40 years out of him.
Oh, dear God.
What?
All right, well.
Eternal Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, great.
I just start glowing.
Chris, you have any thoughts on this game here?
Or Phillip Rivers imploding and killing the world.
I think James pointed it out exactly right, that when you get Phillip Rivers mad to a certain point, he's just god awful. He can't do anything. So that's exactly the key. I think he's done too at the end of the season. I don't think he has much more in the tank anyways. I think if they don't continue on this game, I mean, it's hard. He might come back. He may, but I don't see it happening.
I feel like consensus for a lot of people is they're on the border, but they're leaning towards he's not coming back. I mean, I don't know, just the way he conducts that offense. I mean, they were a good team this year, absolutely. I would attribute that to the ground game and the defense, not to Phillip Rivers, but
no, I don't think so at all.
And I don't think there's really any way he comes back to the Colts. I think if he does come back, it would be somewhere else. And the only way I could see it is if it's to a team where he has a legitimate chance to make a playoff run again.
Right. Well, I'm interested to see actually who the Colts go after this offseason, because they really are a decent quarterback away from making a shot. I mean, they were 10-5 in spite of Phillip Rivers. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think Phillip Rivers is retiring. I think he's too much of a proud human to keep taking 1-year deals.
Yeah. I agree.
Like you said, like Drew said, I mean, if he gets the right offer and it's like, fuck, like, here I go, I'm going to win a title or at least multiple playoff games. Sure.
If he ends up being Brady and going somewhere like Tampa or like another team that's a good quarterback away, and they think that good quarterback is Phillip Rivers for some reason, then
Phillip Rivers. All right, bold prediction. You ready for this? I think I got it. I'm so sorry to cut you off, Drew, but I just had a.
No, I want to hear this.
Phillip Rivers retires this year, right? Calls it quits.
Oh no, he's going to Brett Favre. Oh no, he's going to Brett Favre.
No, kind of. No. Lamar Jackson's going to get injured. Phillip Rivers is going to come out of retirement, run with the Ravens by week 9.
That is very, very bold and very, very specific.
Yeah, super. If I hit on this, I'm a fucking genius. If I miss, it's fine.
James, you wanna make big boy claim?
Okay, he froze for everyone, or is it just me?
Yeah, no, he froze.
Okay, cool. I just paused it. God damn it. All right, let's wait for him to come back to Earth.
I'm here. Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he's back.
In
All
here.
right, cool.
If I want to make
you were frozen.
Here we go. Internet connection's unstable. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
What?
No.
Okay.
No.
I want his stat line from week 9. You said he's coming in week 9 for Lamar. Double down, you bitch. What's his stat line? 334.
You know what his stat line is already. 344.
Oh, 344. All right, that's fine. All right,
You can
let's
only
move
throw
on.
10 times. Make that fucking work.
34 yards an attempt.
Oh my god! Shut
Woo!
How many completions out of those 10 throws?
17.
17.
10 for 10. For
This is transcendent Phillip Rivers we're talking about. He can do all things. He has.
Doesn't matter. He could have 7 extra completions, even though he's only got 10 fucking attempts.
He gets 1 extra completion per child.
Yes, exactly. Again, if anyone would like to look at my screen name, you'll know he has a lot of children. Ravens at Titans. Ravens win that game 20-13. Not a great game by either team. I mean, Lamar didn't really have a good day through the air. Neither did Ryan Tannehill, to be honest. But I think that obviously the big story for anyone that watched this game is where the hell was Derrick Henry?
Dude, 18 carries. Are you kidding me?
18 attempts, 40 yards.
Averaging 2.
Like
2.2.
That's
fucking nuts.
What, 2.2 yards a carry. That's terrible for Derrick Henry.
I mean, that Ravens defense, man, they came to play. I feel like it was very much a situation like the next game we're going to end up talking about here. Right. In that, obviously, everyone knows what happened earlier in the season with the Titans-Ravens game and the disrespect to the midfield logo and all. And the Ravens came out and were determined to make the Titans pay for it, and they did what needed to be done. They stopped, Derrick Henry, which is arguably the tallest task in the NFL, or one of.
Yeah.
And the offense, Lamar was able to do enough. That touchdown that he had, that long rushing touchdown, was magic and really turned the tide of that game. It's those big plays, those momentum changers. Old Mo is a fickle man.
And I would say too, I mean, looking at his options through the air, I mean, Marquise Brown has been stepping up as of late. I mean, I know watching a couple of their games throughout the season, you know, their receivers have been dropping balls like it's everyone's fucking job. But I think you're going to see Marquise Brown. He's starting to actually hold on to catches, and I feel as though he's going to be Lamar's number one option. I mean, obviously he has Mark Andrews, but I mean, it's not been a Mark Andrews year. Definitely not.
No, I mean, but I think they need one more tight end that like kind of pairs like he did with Hayden Hurst, where he has someone who can pull the blocks and also receive on the lighter level as like a duo, as a tandem. But Mark Andrews solo right now is throwing up some red flags. He's still getting the separation. He's still doing decent stuff, but like once you limit him, it's like he doesn't really break apart like George Kittle or Travis Kelce does.
And Lamar looks to attack the middle of the field first. He works inside out in the passing game. So when he's, when Mark Andrews is the only real threat in the middle of the field, it's really easy to take away. So they're forcing him to take a look to the field and then head to the sidelines. It's taking time. It's forcing Lamar to extend plays, and they what you guys said, they really need another effective weapon over the middle of the field.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously that's talk for off-season stuff, but awkward. I didn't go into. Oh well, no, that's fine because both the Bills and the Ravens play each other next week, so that's fine. Even I didn't really
nailed it, Zach. You're so talented. I can't believe you did that on purpose.
I know, right? So yeah, I mean, obviously after both of these games, we have Ravens at Bills. A little bit of divisional preview for you guys. I think I'm going to take this as my game of the week. Both quarterbacks were their leading rusher for their team last week. So, I mean, obviously we don't think of Josh Allen as a running quarterback specifically. I mean, he has the ability to do that, but he puts up the air numbers though to go with it at least. Whereas Lamar is, averages maybe like 150, 175 through the air and a touchdown every other game or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I like this matchup. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think the Bills secondary is going to be tough for Lamar. I know the Bills defense hasn't really been like they were last year. I think they're a little bit of a step down. But they proved their met against the Colts last week. I think they're going to have obviously a tall task in containing Lamar, but I mean, I feel like the secondary is going to have an easier time just because of how hesitant Lamar is to go, through the air. But I know Drew mentioned obviously that the Ravens defense showed up, stopped Derrick Henry. I have in my notes literally right here that the defense is trending in the right direction. I mean, like that is a very good sign for any Ravens fan. What?
Look at it, Chris. He just watched his arm disappear.
I lost an arm.
Oh, that's funny.
Drew, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, like you said, that they're trending in the right direction, but this is going to be an entirely different animal of a game for the Ravens defense. It's not going to be a ground and pound with some play action passing and all that kind of stuff mixed in. It's going to be Josh Allen airing the ball out, and when that's not available, taking matters into his own hands with his legs. And I am curious to see how the defense prepares and tries to stand up to that, because it's a whole different dynamic.
Right, and obviously they were on the road last week, so they're no stranger to winning a game on the road, but I think this is going to be a lot tougher for the Ravens at New Era Stadium. I mean, I feel like the Bills have played lights out at home this entire season, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see what Bills team we're getting. Are we going to get the bona fide home Bills team, or are we going to get a more shaky team that we have seen at some points over the season? But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have the Bills winning this game. I think, Drew, you picked the Bills, right?
Yes, I think it's going to be tough though, given the handicap of not having Zach Moss.
Correct.
The Ravens get the advantage in my book in the run game, in having J.K. Dobbins, who's proven that he can make some big explosive plays. So I think it's going to be a real tight game, but I think the Bills will pull it out in the end at home and head on to the AFC Championship for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, good point. All right, James, Chris, picks?
I'm taking the Bills. I think the defense is trending in the right direction. I think they can limit Lamar enough to hopefully to slow down the run game and force him to pass against a strong secondary. So I'll take them purely off of the defense. I think Josh Allen does struggle against the Ravens defense a bit, but obviously, like you said, Drew, with Zach Moss out, he's losing a weapon, a very key, vital weapon to have that tandem going. I still think Devin Singletary is good enough on his own. Josh Allen's going to struggle. Bills defense wins them the game. Lock.
Yeah. I think it's going to be real fun because there's a lot of upward trends for both teams. So
yeah.
I agree with all of that. I'm going for Bills. Lamar is not that great in the playoffs. I mean, granted, he had a great game last week, but on the ground, true. Very true. So exactly, you just have to limit Lamar on the ground. So 100% Bills defense takes that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do have some notes here. I don't know if you guys will agree with me on this, but if the Ravens want to win this game, they need to do. I think they need to do two things. I think they need to let Lamar be Lamar and not try and game plan too much for him. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when you're you have too much game planning, and he's more of an ad lib. You know what I mean? He ad libs a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Changes plays. Obviously runs the ball a lot. Obviously they have a lot of designed QB runs, but a lot of the times when he breaks off bigger runs, it's when it's not a designed quarterback play. So I think they just need to let him be him. I also think that they need to have better efficiency in the red zone, because if they want to beat this Bills team, who the Bills can score 40 points a game if they need to, Lamar needs to rely on Mark Andrews in this game heavily.
No, it's one thing I got to say. Oh, sorry, Drew. Go ahead.
Mine's quick, so sure. I think that they also need to have their defense step up just one step further than they did last week, and I think they do need to take at least 2 balls away from the Bills' offense to be able to have a chance to win this game.
Right. So on the flip side, I have for the Bills win the turnover battle, because if they win the turnover battle, there's no chance for the Ravens.
Yeah, 100%.
Also getting the ball to Stephon Diggs early and often, because I mean, obviously he's your key playmaker for this game. He's going up against a really good Ravens secondary, Marlon Humphreys and Marcus Peters. But I don't know. I really still like Diggs in this matchup. I still think that, even if they give him double coverage looks or anything like that, I still think Diggs is able to beat those coverages because he's just that skilled. And
if he ends up on Marlon Humphreys, especially if they can find a way to get that mismatch, he is just arguably the best route runner in the game. So he is gonna be able to get separation against those corners. They're very physical corners for sure. Yeah. So he'll be able to run away from those guys and find some open space, and should be a huge factor in this game, as he has been all season.
Yeah, and I also think that they need to get Devin Singletary going. I mean, or he needs to get himself going.
That's a running game. Period. They need a running game.
If they can get 100 yards on the ground, they're going to win this game. If they can get the ball moving, get first downs on the ground, then that's obviously going to open up the passing game for them, and it's going to have the Ravens defense all over the place. So, I mean, those are my keys for both teams this game. I mean, does anyone else have any other things to look for while watching this game for either team?
No, not really. I think we've covered pretty much all of it.
I just want to get everyone's opinions and everything like that. So,
Chris, did you get your picking?
No, he didn't. Oh, he said he agreed with everything. So no, he picked the Bills. He's not talking, but I think he picked. There he goes. Hold on.
Just realized he muted
That's
himself.
off, yeah.
I was muted.
Yeah, you picked the
Yes.
Bills. Right?
Yes, I said Bills. I agreed with everything, and I think the Bills defense is going to win it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's move on. Last wild card game for this episode, guys. We had the Browns at Steelers. James, this was just euphoria for you, I'm sure. I know we were all texting during the game, and James was like, "You all three need to shut the fuck up and don't jinx anything, because I swear to God, I will hunt you down until your dying breath."
It actually might have been a real.
That was the feeling that I had. I'm sure everyone else was this fucking same, but yeah, Browns win this game 48-37. They unfucking loaded 20 years of frustration out on the Steelers this game. I talked about this last week on the episode, but I just had this gut feeling that the Steelers were going to be really sloppy, and they were. They were terrible. Yeah. I mean, the first 2 quarters, they had 4 turnovers. I mean, it was just a terrible, terrible game by the Steelers. Yes, they put up 37, but they put up 37 on a practice squad fucking defense. So yeah, I'm not even going to.
They had players pulled, like they're resting them for
correct, right. Because they were like, yeah, we're probably going to win this game. I mean,
not to mention that they were more or less a tattered mess coming into that game.
Right. I mean, you're down a coach, you're down multiple coaches, you're down multiple players, and you put up 48 points on the number 3 seed Steelers. So,
and then, to add on to that, just 2 of their coaches that were out were their first and second offensive line coaches. They had their time management coach coaching their offensive line. And one of their best offensive linemen got hurt.
Yeah.
And they still put up 48 points.
Just one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen in the NFL. Straight up.
Balling. It was insane.
Absolute fire game from the Browns. I don't want to see what Kevin Stefanski's walls look like in his basement. Disgusting.
Love it.
I mean, I think another. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, it is very safe to blame this game on Juju.
Well, I mean, yeah, metaphorically,
bulletin board material. Yeah,
I called it. If you haven't read my blog, read my blog. His fault.
No. Don't tell me what the fuck to do.
I just told you. Read my blog, bro.
Hey, James. So there's this blog out. Would you mind reading it for me?
No, I'll stand by my guns.
Fuck you. Is this Big Ben's last game? I know we have a lot of last game question marks.
Dude, I was talking about this today. I don't think it is. I think he's going to drag it out. I think he's going to fucking hurt the Steelers by not letting them advance in there.
He seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even with Mason Rudolph's development, he's been like, no, I'm not fucking training this guy. It's like, well, he's your replacement, so please. And then last year,
I disagree. I think it was like his last game. The way he sat with Marquise Pouncey at the end, I think it was his last time, or at least his last time in the playoffs.
I think it was more or less a thing like, man, I threw fucking 4 picks, but I also played one of the best games of my life. We came up short because of all of mine. I think he was taking it on himself personally because, obviously the first play wasn't really his fault. It was Marquise Pouncey and just absolutely skied that ball. I mean, that thing was fucking 7. Yeah, that thing was yeeted into the end zone. But I mean, 4 picks. I mean, he was overthrowing receivers left and right.
He was also throwing low, which is part of the. I think there were 2 tip balls off the defensive line.
Yes. So that was
also. I mean, how many pressures did he have? Almost every. They had to triple team Myles Garrett. That was pretty impressive.
That's Myles Garrett. That's what you get with him.
That was very impressive. He was breaking through triple teams.
Yeah, I mean, again, Myles Garrett. Yeah,
I know. That was so. Big Ben was pressured the whole entire game. I mean, granted, the Steelers didn't play to their potential at all, or at least the first 11 games they played potential. But I truthfully don't know if we'll see. The mic just broke.
Don't know
if we'll see Ben Roethlisberger either back next season or we'll never see him in the playoffs again. It's one or the other.
I mean, I think if he's back next year, his play is going to take a serious hit. And if he's on the Steelers won't make the playoffs with Big Ben. There's no chance in hell. I mean,
controversial, not so controversial take. They should have drafted Jalen Hurts instead of Chase Claypool.
Instead of who?
Chase Claypool.
That's fair.
yeah, I mean, both are good players, but I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, the Steelers have probably the deepest wide receiving locker room in the league. So, do they really need Chase Claypool? They really need a quarterback to develop, and they don't have that right now. But anyways, James, I know you know this. I know all Browns fans know this, but Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are the best 1-2 punch in the league.
100%.
Facts.
Insane. Like, the things that Kareem Hunt was doing, receiving the ball out of the backfield, was fucking mental. And just Nick Chubb's vision is mind-blowing. That dude sees like an extra 20 degrees out. The stuff, he can bounce off so quickly. Yeah, he's got the eyes pulling back a bit, almost on the side of his head. He's so fucking good. I love it.
Yeah, knows exactly when to bounce a run out and exactly where to take it when he does.
And once he gets in the open field, I mean, he's short, he's powerful, but God, he's gone.
I mean, talking about that 40-yard catch and run to the end zone. I mean, he did that. Just his burst speed was ridiculous. Getting to the outside towards the sideline. I mean, there was no one there. No one was going to catch him. And that sweep play with Kareem Hunt. I mean, Kareem Hunt got to the outside and made that fucking nasty cut to the inside and got into the end zone. I mean, come on. Both of them can be RB1s at any given day. I mean, obviously Nick Chubb is, but Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing yards 2 years ago. I mean, a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
They have both of them on that team. And this leads into obviously next week's divisional preview. We have the Browns at the Chiefs, James. You're getting a Kareem Hunt revenge game.
I know. I was actually thinking about that.
And I know this is a really weird. This is obviously a revenge game this, revenge game that. But no, this is a revenge game because they cut him before all of the cards were on the table for his obviously off the field stuff. The Browns signed him. He straightened all of it out. I mean, and this dude is back with the vengeance. I mean, that game last week was impressive, obviously for both of them, but especially Kareem Hunt because you're splitting time and they're both making do with what they've got. I mean, they're both just fucking hitting the ground hard. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Browns. I know, it's obviously the best team in the NFL. But what we've seen this year is that the Chiefs are not invincible. They're 14-2. They didn't play anyone the last week, and they had a bye. So the Chiefs are coming off of 2 weeks of full rest.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously I thought about this. First and foremost, if the Browns aren't healthy, they have no shot. Sorry. It's just not going to happen. So if the Browns are playing with the personnel that they played with last week, they're not going to win. The only thing that's going to work to their advantage is the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs had 2 weeks off.
I
think they're going to be super rusty.
Not that they looked great going into those 2 weeks off.
No, and they really didn't. I mean, but Drew, I know you and I talked about this, and that they're very much a second half team. They're not great in the first half, but they come alive in the second half. My issue with that is if you're doing that every week, it's fine because you get your sea legs under you after 2 quarters and you're fine. They've had 2 weeks off. Are they going to be able to do that? You know what I mean? Is that's
2 quarters going to be enough?
Right, to actually get their game going about them. What's going to be really tough is how the fuck do you stop Travis Kelce on defense, James?
Yep.
That's the hardest part because if you have Denzel Ward covering,
you have no one to cover Travis Kelce.
No, the linebackers have been the biggest issue we have.
Terrible.
There's a lot of question marks I have about this whole thing. Travis Kelce arguably being the biggest game breaker in this entire puzzle. Yeah. But I think if we're going to talk about, I think the keys to success for the Browns are 1, coming in healthy, like you said. That's a good ass point.
Right.
2, they're going to have to play perfect football. That's how you beat.
Right. And with that, I think obviously looking at the game last week too, they have to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands because he will burn them every single time.
Because you're not going to be able to keep the most dominant tight end in the game and the fastest wide receiver in the game down at the same time. There's no way.
Right.
So they're going to have to attack it like the Raiders did the first time. And their biggest shining issue on the Chiefs is their offensive line. It's been questionable. Patrick Mahomes is known for being able to roll out. But hopefully the idea is if you're running enough through the middle and then you have, I forget who's on the other edge at this point, but Myles Garrett pinching on one, I mean, that's enough to push him out and try to force him to make mistakes.
You have
Adrian Claiborne on the other side, I'd still take that.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Is you go back and watch the one that comes to mind for me is the Chiefs game against the Dolphins. The Dolphins were able to consistently get the pressure on Mahomes and force him to be Mahomes more than he can handle. He had to make way more of those ridiculous throws than he's ever really had to before. So once you force him to start making those as a necessity, then it becomes a different game. Then that Chiefs offense doesn't know what its identity is anymore. So that's the key.
I have full confidence that this is just going to turn into an offensive shootout.
Fair.
Yeah, this is what it feels like to me. I mean, obviously, I think that the key for the Browns really is looking at Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt because the Chiefs' running defense, sus.
Yeah, I mean, it's ranked 10th, but still.
It's ranked 10th because the last few weeks they didn't really give up any rushing touchdowns there, guys. But the beginning of the season, they were terrible. They just
I mean, that definitely favors them.
They've gotten better, but I'm worried. Or not worried for them, but if I was a fan of the Chiefs, I would be worried that 2 weeks off is going to not be good for this team.
I think so too, especially if they start slow. If the Browns can get that pace that they had last week and get more points, which I know is a tall task, I'm not asking them to score 28 and a quarter again. They have a very good chance of being able to hold them off just enough in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say if the Browns can put up 17 points in the first half, they will have a chance to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think that like I've said in the past 5 minutes, the only thing for the Chiefs, I mean, they have to obviously play mistake-free football, but even with a couple mistakes, the Chiefs will still have a chance because they're the Chiefs. I mean, they have Patrick Mahomes, best tight end in the league, arguably one of the best wide receivers in the league, and they're just they're a deep team. But I don't expect the ground game to be that much of a factor. Obviously, it's going to help them to be able to spread the ball around.
Right.
But obviously, I would be nervous because. Again, those linebackers, James. So, but yeah, I mean, I think for the Chiefs is don't underestimate the Browns. I mean, I would say that against any team, but I think this Browns team just has an it factor around it. I mean, it's uncharted territory for the Browns.
Yeah,
it's uncharted territory for the Chiefs because you're playing a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 20 years, and they haven't won a playoff game since 1990, whatever.
Actually, at that point, it'll be just about a week, Zach.
They hadn't won a playoff game up until last week in
6 days.
30 years or whatever. But anyways, fuck you. I just think what the Browns, like you said, James, what the Browns need to do is they need to go out into the field and they need to punch them in the mouth. That's it.
And the other thing is the Browns can also continue to use that energy and that momentum from what Juju said. They can use that as kind of a
Chase Claypool. Yeah. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, yes, that as well. Just let's give it everything we got. We're going to take this as far as we can because nobody thinks that we can do it, and that mentality has proven to work in the past. So
everybody loves an underdog, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't have much else to say about this. This is the last game. Guys, I don't have anything else before I sign us off.
I'm tired, man.
Congratulations to Alabama for winning. We'll talk about that on the BOTA show.
Yes, we will.
Yes, I would like to chime in.
All right, Chris.
Oh, yes, me.
Yes, please don't forget about me.
That's why I asked.
Exactly what we were saying. If we've seen what happens when you contain Patrick Mahomes and you put pressure on him, and he's a disaster. If the Browns can literally do that I think it's more on the Browns defense this week. If the Browns can literally just pressure Mahomes into making dumb throws and dumb decisions, that defense, the Browns offense, we know what they're capable of. And like James said, they need to give it their all this week, but this is that game where you give it your all. This is that. I mean, granted, the whole playoffs are win or go home, but for the Browns, this is that Super Bowl game.
No, we had our Super Bowl game. Fuck you. We're good. We're good on the year. We won our game. We beat the division rivals. We fucked them up. Our Super Bowl's done.
But now you can take the Chiefs down. Every single thing you have.
Look, everything on this place is gravy, man.
On the field, you're getting back up and still playing, in my opinion. And I think if the Browns defense can contain Patrick Mahomes and make him make dumb decisions, that offense can still make plays and get points on the board. I think the Browns have the chance, but they have to put everything in order to do it.
And I'm taking them not just as a homer. I'm going to take them, I guess, as a homer. Actually, completely as a homer. I'm going to give them all my heart. I'm going to give them all my support. I believe in Baker. We have our quarterback. We have our head coach. We don't need to change anything. We're good.
When do they play, Saturday or Sunday?
They play Sunday. Sunday, 3:05.
I know the Packers and Rams play at 4 on Saturday.
Yep.
And then I believe it must be the Ravens and Bills play at 8:15 or whatever on Saturday. So then they must be the next day. So
they are in fact Sunday at 3:05.
3:05, so they're the afternoon game. All right, well, cool. Well, I mean, it's gonna be great. Obviously, you guys are welcome to come over to the new place. Yay! Already mentioned that.
Did you just invite everyone watching this over?
Yes,
come everyone. Over, everybody.
Everyone that's watching this.
Hey, if you're listening to this, come on over to Zach's house. He'll give you the address after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, I'll share it.
DM us for the Addy boys.
No, y'all got Apple. I'll airdrop that shit to you right the fuck now. Fucking. God damn it.
Bro.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always,
what if Chris wanted to do the outro?
Oh, he did?
I don't know.
Well, clearly not now.
You guys alternate. Do it alternate. Each word. You guys have to guess. You have to do the outro by alternating, all right?
Chris,
you start.
You.
Oh, okay.
4.
Coming.
2.
My.
Birthday.
Fiesta.
We.
Would.
Like.
To.
See.
Many.
Penises.
That.
Are.
Keep going.
Are, like A-R-E, like a verb.
Like a verb. Small.
And.
Small.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Garbage Time with BOTA Sports. Obviously, new name, new us, or some shit like that. Whatever that fucking white girl saying is.
No, it is not new us.
Yeah,
all right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to BOTA Sports. This is Garbage Time, and.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. This has been Garbage Time with BOTA Sports. Now, Drew, go.
All right, Drew, go.
Thanks, y'all, so much for listening. It's the Garbage Time with the BOTA Boys.
What the fuck was that?
That's what I said.
You know where to find us.
Degrade our listeners.
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Fuck.
Megan in the background. What the fuck is up,
Your positive reinforcement.
Yeah, that's right. Guess what? Guess fucking what?
Stay beautiful. Have a great day.
Nah, dude. Stay fucking soggy.
Drip.